An anxious wait for the Malawian government's response to the extradition notice served on it by the South African government for fugitive self-proclaimed prophet Shepherd Bushiri. The popular church leader is on trial for fraud and corruption and in fact fled the country just last week after being granted bail. Bushiri is claiming that his life is in danger and that in fact he doesn't believe he'll receive a fair trial here in South Africa. The escape of Bushiri to his home country in Malawi has sparked diplomatic tensions, we're told, following what's been seen as a successful working visit between President Lazarus Chakwera and President Cyril Ramaphosa just last week. For more reaction now on this extradition notice, let's bring in Malawi's Minister of Information and in fact the government spokesperson, Mr. Gospel Kazako. Thanks very much for joining us, Mr. Kazako, and welcome to the AM report here in South Africa. So we've seen reports that in fact, Shepherd Bushiri is likely to have not left through legitimate ports of exit in South Africa. How much do you know about how in fact he arrived in your country?
The first thing is to find out how he left your country. We are also interested when you look at the capacity that the South African system has. How did he manage to pass through your borders, very tight borders, very well set borders, and then he got into Malawi. We are also investigating how he got into Malawi, and certainly once we get how he got into Malawi, we'll certainly make that announcement accordingly.
Yeah, part of what he said during a briefing, I think it must have been either on Saturday or yesterday, is that he's going to communicate his direct address to the Malawian government, and I imagine this is where many of these questions will be posed to him. Has he done that yet?
No, he has not done that yet. We have not met Prophet Bushiri, and he has not approached us yet. We're just waiting. Well, I think should he approach us, certainly we'll have to listen to him, what he has for us.
Does it not strike you as strange that you prefer waiting for what South Africa is saying, a fugitive, to approach you, versus you being proactive to try to find out where he is? Is that really the strategy from the Malawian government, that you'll just wait for Bushiri to present himself to you?
You must know that he becomes a fugitive when we have all the records. He becomes a fugitive when we have been told exactly what happened. You should remember, if you are aware, that we didn't get any brief when Prophet Bushiri was arrested. In fact, as government, we don't have any information as to exactly what happened, why he was taken to court, and so on and so forth. The reports that we have are reports that we're seeing in the media, and as government, we cannot be responding to media reports. We are a government that believes in procedures, and we can only act on the things that have been put to us formally. So if we had all the information and all the details, certainly we would have acted. Right now, what we're waiting for the South African government, if at all they will get in touch with us. But we have heard that they have started some procedures, some processes to approach the government of Malawi, and once that happens, certainly we'll have to take up our position. Let me also mention this, that this is not a very complicated matter in as far as we're concerned. It is not complicated because it is a matter that is set, or a matter that is around or surrounding matters of the law. We know as a country, as a government, we have so many protocols that we have signed, we have so many treaties that we have so many agreements that we have at different levels, including SADC, AU, and the United Nations. Now, when this comes to us on our official desk, it will not be a very complicated issue in as far as we are concerned, because we just have to use the instruments that are set, the instruments that are there. We will not use common sense. So sometimes the way the issue is being portrayed is as it's a very, very complicated issue. It is not a complicated issue, because in this country we've got laws, and we also know that there are international laws, and Malawi is a signatory to those laws. So it's a matter that will be handled very well. Let me also take this opportunity to say this. that as we're handling this matter, you must be aware we grow our relationship with South Africa. South Africa is a partner that we are looking up to so that we create a win-win situation. We want to strengthen our relationship. We want to be in great friendship with South Africa, and we know that South Africa can be our very, very good key partner in trade and other areas of betterment for our nations. Right. So we shouldn't be looking at this with an eye that would derail the process that our president started in South Africa. There are also assertions that people are tending to use the word diplomatic row. I don't think there's any diplomatic row. It's an issue that we're going to sort out. You must remember that we have so many Malawians, hundreds of thousands of Malawians that are living and staying in South Africa. And it's not the first time that a Malawian has managed to, or a Malawian has been called to court, or the laws of South Africa or any other country has called a Malawian to answer. Prophet Bushiri is one of our citizens. Prophet Bushiri stays in South Africa, and this time around he's been wanted. We have had such situations before, and we handled them very well. And I don't think that this is any different from any other issue that we are aware of and that happened before. So it's an issue that is not complicated. It's an issue that we are looking at because we have friendship with South Africa. So we should be able to handle this very well, and very well we will handle it.
Sure. It's a point well made, Minister. Let me ask you this, because there's been a lot of back and forth around this issue too. To your knowledge, did Bushiri have a diplomatic passport?
Yes.
Okay, so he is in fact in possession of a diplomatic passport as far as you know?
Yes.
All right. And what are the implications thereof? Because, you know, there's been a lot of questions around whether or not he left the country legitimately using this diplomatic passport. Do you imagine that being a prospect that he can have explored to get to the country?
I think we don't have those details.
Okay.
We are yet to find those details. And as I said, this is a matter of law. So if any document was abused or was not abused, we also have a look at what the laws are saying, and we should be able to move forward.
All right.
At the moment, we can't say much as to whether he abused the passport or he didn't. Let me also mention this, that Prophet Bushiri is one of our citizens. It looks like there is a big uproar. He's just one of the citizens. In this country, we've got so many founders of churches, and the Prophet Bushiri is one of them. And we're treating this matter in that manner. There isn't any special gloves that we're putting on in dealing with the issue concerning Prophet Bushiri. He's one of our citizens, and the laws, will apply accordingly. We are all equal. So whether he's guilty or whether he's not guilty, it will be seen after applying all the laws and applying them very well. We're also looking at this saga as one that provides an opportunity for, your government and our government to also look at our immigration, to look at our borders. How did he manage to get out of South Africa? I think that's a question that is not adequately answered on your part, and it looks like that is being pushed to us all the time. How did he get into Malawi? But probably all of us have to start looking at how did he get into Malawi, and also how did he manage to get out of South Africa.
Yeah, the Minister, if I can come in there.
Travel documents are with you there.
Right.
He was under a court order, and he was under police surveillance, and he was also not allowed to go to certain provinces, we understand, because we don't have anything official on our desk. So these are the questions that both countries have to answer. And because we have got friendship, because we have got relationships, I think it will provide a very good recipe for us to start looking at how are we manning our borders, and how best can we work together to ensure that our borders are safe and they are not porous. Because a man like Bushiri is a founder of the church, and we understand that is very well known in South Africa. If he has managed to get out of South African borders, through South African borders, how many more people are actually going into South Africa, getting into South Africa without the knowledge of the government? But we know this government is technically very fluent. We respect your government, and there are so many brilliant people in various departments in there. Certainly, they should be able to get to the bottom and see what is happening in that area.
All right. Yeah, and I think to stress the point home, both countries really have important questions to answer about how we got here in its totality. We've seen media reports that President Cyril Ramaphosa has actually been quite upset by this. We haven't independently confirmed that. But are you able to give us the reaction from President Chakwera on your side of the border? I imagine he's following this story quite closely, not least of which because his name has come up as a person who might have given Bushiri a way to get to that country. That has been dismissed, so let's put that aside. But his reaction to the developments over the past few days, what has he had to say?
Firstly, I think it is not fair for you to bring this again, because I'm sure you trust your government. You trust your government and what it says. Your government has made a statement, and the statement is very clear that our president had nothing to do with the coming in of Bushiri to this country. Our president is a man of integrity. Our president is a man of very, very high integrity, and I can assure you that our president belongs to a club of an endangered species of presidents in this part of the world. So I think let's not talk about that, because that has been sorted out, and we have nothing to hide whatsoever. Our president could not have done, he can't do that. In fact, you don't even have to start thinking. We have a very high quality president. Now, coming back to your question, it's not about the president being upset as why should he be upset, or why should he be happy or pleased or angry or excited. These issues are not about emotions. We don't do this. These are matters of law, and emotions don't come in. And in this country, we have got systems. We have got agents of government. We have got the law. We have all that. All that will be used to take care of the situation that is affecting Bushiri and the South African government. So it's president to be happy about it, or to be upset about it, or to be angry about it. That's not how we operate here. Here we've got systems, regardless of who is in that office, regardless who is occupying that space. We have systems, so we follow systems. That is giving us sleepless nights, because we have got instruments that are set, and we're going to use those instruments to ensure that this matter is properly resolved, and resolved amicably. And we know we are very capable, us and South Africa, looking at our relationship, looking at all the other things. I think we should be able to do that and be able to move forward as countries of goodwill.
All right. On that note, we'll have to leave it. Thanks very much for making time to indulge us and give us an idea of what you know as the Malawian government. That's Minister Gospel Kazako, who is Minister of Information and also happens to speak for the Malawian government. Thanks once again. Just to reiterate, so it turns out Shepherd Bushiri, according to the Malawian government, does have a diplomatic passport. However, the state in that country isn't sure whether he used this document to, in fact, get to Malawi. They're asking themselves similar questions that many people have posed to officials here. How did Shepherd Bushiri manage to leave the country to begin with? And as much importance, I guess, has been given to how he was able to enter Malawi, given, of course, the case